Draconis, a land of ancient forests, soaring mountains and fiery volcanoes. Magic pulsed through its very veins, whispering secrets on the wind. This was a land where dragons soared and goblins lurked, where every shadow held a story, and every stone echoed with history. The fate of Draconis hung in the balance, teetering on the edge of a prophecy foretold. Deep within the heart of Draconis lay the kingdom of Eldoria. Ruled by generations of wise and just monarchs, Eldoria stood as a beacon of hope and prosperity. But a shadow had fallen upon Eldoria, a darkness that threatened to consume its glory. The air crackled with tension. Eldoria's once peaceful forest echoed with the clang of steel and the thud of marching boots. King Alaric, his face etched with worry, rallied his people. He knew the gravity of the threat they faced. The goblins were numerous, their savagery unmatched. Hope, however, was not lost, for an ancient prophecy spoke of a chosen one, a hero who would rise to protect the kingdom. The Dragonheart, the prophecy called him, a warrior touched by the fire of the dragons, destined to wield the power of the Ember Throne. As war drums pounded in the distance, the people of Eldoria clung to the hope offered by the prophecy. They believed, with every fiber of their being, that the Dragonheart would rise, that their kingdom would endure. Far to the north, in the jagged peaks of the Dragon's Spine Mountains, the ancient dragons listened. For millennia, they had watched over Draconis, their fiery breath a testament to their power. The prophecy was not lost on them. They knew the role they had to play in the coming conflict. The dragons were beings of immense power, their scales harder than steel, their fire hotter than 1,000 suns. They understood that the fate of Draconis, and indeed their own existence, was intertwined with the prophecy of the Dragonheart. The dragons would protect the fire, the essence of the Ember Throne, the very lifeblood of Eldoria. The fate of Draconis now rested on the shoulders of a hero yet to be revealed. Throughout Eldoria, the search for the Dragonheart commenced. Young men and women, their hearts filled with courage and a desire to protect their homeland, stepped forward. They underwent rigorous trials, their strength tested, their resolve measured. But none possessed the mark, the fiery birthmark that signified the chosen one. Time, however, was a luxury Eldoria could ill afford. The goblin hordes grew closer with each passing day. Despair began to creep into the hearts of even the bravest Eldorians. Then, from the small village of Ebon Hollow, a young blacksmith named Kaelen emerged. He bore the mark, a crimson dragon emblazoned upon his chest, pulsating with an inner fire. When the news of Kaelen's existence reached King Alaric, a surge of hope coursed through him. He immediately summoned the young blacksmith to the capital.
Humbled and slightly overwhelmed by the weight of expectation, I answered the call. I knew deep down that my destiny awaited me.
Upon his arrival, Kaelen was greeted not with fear or apprehension, but with respect and admiration. He was the chosen one, the beacon of hope in their darkest hour.
Under the watchful eyes of the kingdom's finest warriors, I trained. I learned the art of swordplay, my natural strength amplified by the fire that burned within me.
His mentor, the grizzled old warrior Grimgor, saw in Kaelen the makings of a true hero. He pushed the young blacksmith, testing his limits, forging him into a weapon of unparalleled skill and determination. Days turned into weeks as Kaelen trained, his skills growing sharper with each passing hour. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. Word reached the capital that a large force of goblins had been spotted moving through the Whisperwood, heading towards the Dragon's Spine.
King Alaric, recognizing the urgency of the situation, tasked Grimgor and me with a perilous mission, to warn the dragons and ensure their protection.
Under the cloak of darkness, Kaelen and Grimgor rode. The Whisperwood, usually a place of serene beauty, was now shrouded in an eerie silence. They were walking into a trap, they knew it, but they pressed on, their resolve unwavering.
As we ventured deeper into the heart of the forest, the silence was shattered. Goblin archers, their eyes gleaming with malice, ambushed us from the shadows. We fought bravely, our swords flashing in the moonlight, but we were outnumbered, outmaneuvered. Grimgor fell, mortally wounded, his last breath a whisper of encouragement to Kaelen.
Kaelen awoke in a cold, damp cage, his body aching, his spirit heavy with defeat. He had failed, he thought, failed his king, failed Grimgor, failed Eldoria. Despair threatened to consume him, but then he saw it, a faint glow emanating from his chest, the mark of the dragon heart pulsing with a life of its own.
The fire, it seemed, had other plans. It whispered to me, not in words, but in feelings, in emotions, in a language as old as time itself. It spoke of courage, of resilience, of the unwavering spirit that burned within me.
And then, the fire spoke of a way out, a path fraught with danger, a test of will and determination. Kaelen, his resolve reignited, listened intently, his heart pounding in his chest. He would escape, he vowed. He would complete his mission.
Guided by the whispering fire, I broke free from my prison. I moved with a newfound purpose, my every action infused with the strength of the dragons. I fought my way through the goblin encampment, my sword a blur of motion, my spirit unbreakable.
As Kaelen fought his way through the goblin ranks, he encountered a series of trials, each one testing a different aspect of his being. The fire, his constant companion, guided him, pushing him to his limits, revealing the true depths of his strength.
The first trial tested my courage. I faced down a monstrous goblin chieftain, its eyes glowing with malevolent intent, its axe dripping with the blood of countless victims. Fear threatened to cripple me, but I stood firm, my resolve unwavering.
The second trial tested his wisdom. He was presented with a series of riddles, each one more perplexing than the last.
Drawing upon my sharp mind and the guidance of the fire, I deciphered the riddles, my intellect proving as sharp as my blade.
The final trial tested his honor. He was offered a choice, to abandon his mission and save himself, or to continue on, knowing that it might mean his death.
I chose honor, choosing to face my destiny head-on.
Emerging from the goblin encampment, battered but unbroken, Kaelen finally reached the base of the dragon's spine. He had survived the trials, but the true battle was yet to come.
I began my ascent, my body weary, my spirit soaring. I climbed for what felt like an eternity, my every step fueled by the fire that burned within me.
The dragons were there, waiting for him, their eyes burning with ancient wisdom and power. They had been watching him, testing him, and now they accepted him.
The ground shook as the goblin horde, alerted to Kaelen's presence, stormed the mountain. The final battle had begun.
The dragons unleashed their fiery breath, incinerating swaths of goblins, their roars shaking the very foundations of the world. Kaelen, empowered by the dragon's fire, fought with a fury he never knew he possessed. He was an unstoppable force, the embodiment of the prophecy the dragon heart unleashed. The battle raged for hours, a maelstrom of fire, steel, and fury. Despite their ferocity, the goblins were no match for the combined might of the dragons and the dragon heart.
Finally, as the last of the goblin horde perished, silence fell upon the battlefield. Exhausted but exhilarated, I stood amidst the carnage, my sword still smoking from the battle. I had done it. I had saved Eldoria.
The dragons, their fiery eyes filled with approval, descended from the sky. They surrounded Kaelen, their ancient power flowing into him, acknowledging him as their champion, their dragon heart.
As Kaelen took his rightful place upon the Ember Throne, a wave of power surged through him, unlike anything he had ever experienced. He was the Dragonheart, the protector of Eldoria, the champion of Draconis.
With Kaelen upon the Ember Throne, peace returned to Draconis. The goblins were vanquished, their threat extinguished. Eldoria, under Kaelen's wise and just rule, entered a new golden age of prosperity and tranquility. And the dragons, their vow fulfilled, returned to their mountaintop eyries, their watchful gaze ever vigilant, their fiery breath a reminder of their enduring power. But the story of Kaelen, the Dragonheart, did not end there. It was passed down through generations, told and retold, each time growing in grandeur and magnificence. Kaelen's story became a beacon of hope, a testament to the indomitable spirit of a kingdom, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, courage, resilience, and the unwavering belief in oneself can overcome any obstacle.